and Gio.
BT and Sal.
Evan and Tiki.
Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan.
On The Fan.
On The Fan.
On The Fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
Welcome to another episode of WFAN Daily with your host, Pete Hoffman. Only local game today. New York Mets, the big spot, going to Philly. And they get shut out by Aaron Nola, who coming into today, now it's after midnight, so it was yesterday. But Aaron Nola coming into yesterday's game, ERA of a 6.24. He's been terrible. Sorry, 6.78. Who's going into yesterday? It dropped to 6.24 after his 6 shutout innings he pitched against the Mets. He's been awful. He's been hurt, but he came back and he's getting shelled. And then he throws up 6 shutout innings to the Mets. That's what happens. That's what this Mets team does. And it's highly frustrating. It is highly frustrating because the pressure's on. This is 2007 all over again. The only difference is they're not fighting for a division. The division is over. There is no division for the New York Mets. They're fighting for a playoff spot. We are talking about now the division is 8-18. Mets aren't catching that bad boy. But it's going to be down to 3 with 18 to go. The Mets lost today or last night to the Phillies. Giants are winning as we speak. They're up 11-5. I don't think they're losing that game. It's the 9th inning. I think they're going to win. The Reds and the Padres are currently tied right now at 3 in the top of the 9th. Those two teams, the Giants and the Reds, if the Reds win, will gain a game to the Mets, and that 4-game lead will be down to 3, to 2 teams, not just 1. So the Mets are in a world of hurt right now. They're playing the Phillies, who are going to try to get back after they got swept by the Mets in Citi Field a couple weeks ago. They're going to get back at the Mets right now. This is their time to shine and say, you know what? We're better than you. We're going to sweep you. And the Mets offense was lifeless again. You know, you just played Cincinnati in a ballpark where you should have been able to put up a ton of runs every game because that's what happens at Great American Ballpark, but they couldn't do it. They put up 1 run, 2 runs. They put up 5 runs. They put up 2 runs and then 2 runs. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And they waste another good Nolan McLean starting at his first loss of his career because the Mets offense gives him 0. It's a Jacob deGrom game, which is terrible. You know, we've always gone with like that with our ace pitchers. They pitch great. They give up. They're normal pitchers. They gave up a run in 5 1/3. I think that's acceptable. I wish they could have let McLean pitch a little longer, but so be it. And there's no offense. It's unbelievable. Hold on, excuse me. I should have blown my nose before I started the podcast. That would have been smart, but I chose not to for whatever reason. So yeah, the New York Mets right now are just pathetic. And a couple things, right? So the bigger thing is that Brett Beatty gets caught at first base and gets picked off, and that kills any sort of momentum. And that's what it comes down to is there's never any momentum. There's no rally anymore. You know, Pete Alonso gets a hit off of Jerron Duran, the Phillies closer. They pull him and put in Ronnie Mauricio, which is great. He's got more speed. I think he's got more speed. He doesn't steal a base. He doesn't move. He basically waits around. And finally, thankfully, Mark Vientos gets a double, but he doesn't score. Like, we've had that issue many times this year with the third base coach. Like, in a prime spot, you have to find a way, especially with the runner that's speedy, to score. Meanwhile, they're sending guys like, Starling Marte, who's not fast. It doesn't make any sense. And that was a spot where, Mauricio read the ball wrong, but still, he's got to find a way to score. They got to send them whatever the case is. I don't know, but then you have weak at-bats. McNeil missed a couple balls down the line. Didn't happen. Okay, fine. But then you have Francisco Alvarez striking out on 3 pitches. It felt like he didn't even want to be there. And a waste of a 2-out rally or a rally in the 9th inning, which, by the way, so we all know this. If you're a Mets fan watching this, you know that the Mets are the only team not to come back in the 9th inning. Like, this is not new to us, but they now hit the official number of 0-60 with games trailing in the 9th inning and not coming back. So they could have broke that. They could have, but many things happen that they just continue to screw up. They got some good breaks. Harrison Bader was trying to be a little aggressive on the base pass a couple times, and they were able to nail him at second base, and that prevented a rally, that prevented some runs. The Mets, it was a very quick, it was a very pathetic game as far as the offense goes, and it felt like you had some good things with Ryan Helsley actually looking decent. Didn't give up any runs, struck out a guy. It felt like there were some things that were like, okay, maybe there is something with this Mets team. Maybe they can find some life. Maybe there's something that can happen. Maybe the pitching isn't as bad as we thought. And at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. You got to win these games. You have to. And you think it's going to be easier? Do you think it's going to be any easier with the pitching staff and the way they've been pitching? Your best pitcher, who's only pitched his fifth game now of his career, started on Monday, and you couldn't win that game. But let's see what David Peterson does. Sean Manaea. You think they're going to win those games? No chance. They're going to get shelled. There's a possibility that they finish this Philly series and they're basically out of the playoffs. Like, they could be wrapped up. I know they really can't, because at the very least they'll be tied, or close to it. But this is nail biting time. This is bad. Okay. And again, hey, my laundry's done. This is great. I'm gonna fold some laundry after this podcast is over. What is bothering me too is that this is so reminiscent of every other Mets team over history. Like, we go back to 2006, they were so close. 2024, they were very close. They went to the NLCS. Are they going to collapse? Are they going to miss the playoffs? When the playoffs are more easy, it's easier time to get into the playoffs? When you just signed Juan Soto for all that money, are you going to miss the playoffs? It's unbelievable. And it does feel like 2007. It feels like things are slipping away. And it's not about fun. It's not about, the veterans aren't doing their job or the young kids aren't. It's the whole entire team. It just feels dead. It doesn't have life. And it's not about fun. It's about just guys stepping up. And no one wants to do it. Like, Mark Vientos got a really huge double today. Clutch double in a big-time spot. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else was participating in the game. It's like, we'll give up. We'll get them tomorrow. You keep saying that. There's no more tomorrows. And my question is, why do Mets fans have to deal with this on a regular basis? This goes back to 2022 when they couldn't win the division. You lost the division with 6 games left to go in the season, and you have a division lead the entire season, And then, you can win 101 games, still lose the division. Last year, it took till game 161 for the Mets to win and make the playoffs. Why does it have to go to the bitter end of the season and with us pulling our hair out? It's gut-wrenching. It truly is. And what's worse is when you get to that point where it's game 160, 161, or 162, and then you're finally eliminated, it kills. I don't even know how else to say it. I'm prepping right now. I know Tommy Lugauer is Mr. Positivity over here. Explain to me this, sir. With 18 to go and you're losing the wild, the wild card is slipping away. Explain to me how you can be positive if and when the Mets are out of the playoffs. Spin that one, hotshot. Explain that to me. Right now, there is nothing positive. You can't sit there and be like, "Oh, it was a good showing by Nolan McLean. He's going to be amazing next year." I don't know why I have an accent all of a sudden, but I just feel like talking with an accent because I'm so frustrated. But like, what is the spin? What I want to hear? I would love, honestly, just to hear what he says because it's so idiotic these days. I'm curious to hear what positive Tommy has to say after 162 and the Mets miss the playoffs. Give me the positive spin on that. There's next year. Nobody wants to hear that. Not a freaking soul. What I want to hear, what I want to see is accountability, and what I want to see is wins. And by doing that, you need to hit the ball in big-time spots. You can't get caught at first base snapping. And you have to be able to pitch like a big leaguer. And right now, there's one guy on this pitching staff, starting pitching-wise, who's a big leaguer. That's Nolan McLean. There's nobody else I trust. It was nice to see Brandon Sproat pitch, on Sunday, and he had some skill set. I love it. But still, it's not enough. And I'm worried. And this is the Phillies right now that we're dealing with. So I get it. Like, okay, Phillies are good. They're gonna win. They're gonna win the division. And Nolan McLean pitched really well against them. I mean, that's the thing. This is the second time against the Phillies, and he still pitched well. Only gave up one run. Like, that's really good because now is usually the familiarity of a pitcher. Usually you get used to him and then you can hit him. Now, he still struck out Harper. He still got a lot of guys look foolish. So McLean was still doing his job. But you know who's going to really be the sore to this team? Who's going to really kick our ass? The Miami Marlins. The Miami Marlins. We faced them at the end of the season. It's the final series of the season. Do you know how much the Marlins love to ruin the New York Mets' days? It happens all the time. Let's see. Let's go through the Mets schedule right now. Let's see who's going to really be a pain in our ass. So we got, beautiful. 2 games against the Phillies left. Actually, sorry. All right, the laundry, get it. 3 games against the Phillies left. So this series is nowhere close to being over. I forgot it's a 4-game series. So we got 3 more games left the Phillies. So yes, by the end of the series, we could be tied for the wild card with the Giants and potentially the Reds. I don't know what they're up to right now. Let's see. Did they win or lose? It's the top of the 10th. So okay. Giants did win though, so the Giants are on our ass. But the Mets got 3 more with the Phillies. They got 3 with the Rangers. And they're on the cusp. They're fighting for a playoff spot. The Padres, they're playing the Reds right now. So if the Reds win, the Padres lose, their playoff spot is slipping as well. Oh, good. The Nationals. Thank God we play them. But then we play the Cubs, who always ruin our day, always ruin our season. And then the last 3 against the Marlins, like I said. This is a shitty schedule. We're screwed. We got 3 cakewalk games against the Nationals, maybe. That's it. I got to be honest. This is creeping up real quick. This is an epic collapse. We're about to see it again. We're screwed. We are not going to get through this. This is not a gauntlet. This shouldn't be a challenge. The Mets should be better than this. But they can't beat these teams. I'm telling you right now. They're lucky to go 500. And 500 is probably not good enough. 500 is definitely not good enough to get them in the playoffs. Because the Giants are on the Giants are going to be over 500 in the last 18 games. The Reds are probably going to be over 500. You're talking about two teams that are the momentum is building between those two teams. The Mets aren't making the playoffs this year. I can't believe that. That's gonna stay, man. That is gonna be. I can't believe right now that I'm just kind of having clarity in this moment. With 18 games to go, the Mets are going to lose and they're going to miss the playoffs. And we have to deal with that crap again. I was building this up for the first time ever in franchise history to go to the playoffs 3 out of 4 years. I was all excited about that. Like, wow, we did something that's never happened in franchise history, is going to the playoffs 3 of 4 years. 3 out of 4 years. That is like groundbreaking for the Mets. They're going to miss the playoffs. Like they always do. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. There's been so many mistakes with how they built this roster in the offseason, at the trade deadline, during the season. They make stupid risks and take stupid risks, but yet a simple one as bringing David Robertson. Nope. Guess who pitched well against the Mets yesterday? David Robertson. That would have been nice in the bullpen, but we still got Ryan Stanek. I mean, this is bad. We are in a whole lot of hurt. I didn't mean to go on this long about this, but as about the Mets, but as I'm just kind of breaking it all down in my head, I'm going, we are in deep shit. This is not going to be like, oh, don't worry about it. The Mets will figure it out. They'll get out of this mess and they'll win a bunch of games and we'll feel better about ourselves. Okay, here we go. How about this? Just off the bat, what starting pitcher gives you confidence that they can go shut down an offense like the Phillies? The Rangers' offense has been up and down, but do you think they can shut them down? Do you think that they can hit the pitching? They're going to play DeGrom. He's going to be impossible to hit. How about let's go to the Cubs? They have a good offense. We think we can stop them? San Diego's always a pain in our butt. Explain to me what pitcher besides Nolan McLean do you think can shut anybody down? The answer is nobody. We're going to cross our fingers on Sproat, see how he does a second time around. Jonathan, I do like what I've seen with him, even though his last start's been a little rough. But still, I like what I see. But this is still too early for us to be like, these are the three guys. Just roll them out. These are our guys. But that's it. I don't trust David Peterson anymore. I definitely don't trust Sean Manaea. Tyler McGill, he just got hurt again. They had to shut him down. Not saying I want Tyler McGill in there anyway. However, he's shut down too. So it's like there's no help. This is going to be a rough couple weeks. I don't know if I can take it. I couldn't take last year when they clinched 161 and they were winning all the time. Think about that. Last year at this time, they were not in the playoffs. They didn't have that final spot, and they were winning games and fighting to catch up and make the playoffs. And now they're in the playoffs. They've been in the playoffs all season long, and they're going to blow it. And we're going to have to sit here. It's a slow car wreck all season long. It's just so frustrating. All right, let's get real quick to the football because yesterday Brian Daboll clarified, confirmed the news that Russell Wilson was going to start for week 2. And this was it was kind of like a dumb question because it's almost like Carlos Mendoza, right? Carlos Mendoza, people brought up a little bit, well, is he going to return next year? And David Stern's the answer to Joe Sherman and John Heyman was, yes, he's coming back. No doubt about it. Like, why is that in question? And I understand that this is a collapse. This is not very good right now for the Mets. But still, why is that even in question? Russell Wilson has played one game as the quarterback of the New York Giants in 3 years. The past 3 years, the Giants have not scored a touchdown on opening day. But we're going to blame that on Russell Wilson? The New York Giants, they did it again. They put up the least amount of points in week 1 compared to any other team. The Dolphins, they were the next closest. They had 8 points. The Giants, they had 6. The Texans, 9 points. The Giants, they had 6. Everybody else got double-digit points. I mean, I'm not sitting there and saying, like, hey, the Patriots put up 13. It wasn't like they had, like, an epic showdown. The Saints had 13. The Panthers had 10. But the Giants, they had 6. They had field goals. Couldn't score a touchdown. And it continues. But that doesn't mean I want to see Jackson Dart. Like, you think that putting Jackson Dart is going to change things? What it will do is it will get worse for the fan base. Because if you put Jackson Dart in, Jackson Dart will be basically running for his life on a regular basis up until Andrew Thomas comes back, which we don't know when that's going to be. He's going to be in over his head. And for everything that you think, but he's going to get playing time, he's going to get experience, it's going to come with a lot of pressure, a lot of hits, a lot of damage that he doesn't need to take at that age. And no matter his moxie, no matter how excited we are to think that, look at J.J. McCarthy yesterday. They just, J.J. McCarthy, Caleb Williams, the Bears have a huge lead the whole game. And then all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings go off and they go from being down 17-6 and they end up winning 27. What was the final score? Was it 27 to, I think the Bears did finally score a touchdown to make it 27-14, I think the score was. But either way, it was out of hand the entire game. And then J.J. McCarthy, who, by the way, didn't play last year. He sat behind players, right? He sat. He got an idea of what he's supposed to do. He learned on the job. He didn't learn on the job. He learned by watching and playing and picking other guys' brains. And listen, it wasn't even a great game for him. Look at his numbers. I think he was 13 for 20. He did throw 2 touchdowns. He does have a guy named Justin Jefferson on his team, which is amazing. But I think he did. And then the other pass was to Aaron Jones for a touchdown, 27-yard touchdown. But the point is, it wasn't a great game. They won. Wasn't a great game. And I'm not looking at J.J. McCarthy and be like, wow, this guy's taking over the franchise. This guy's taking over the NFL. Not even close. Not saying that with Caleb Williams either. His speed's a little bit better, but whatever. Point being, these quarterbacks, they're going to learn. But last year, J.J. was able to watch. That's what Jackson Dart should do. Should be able to watch. And if the Giants can win while he's watching, great. If not, he's going to learn a lot of things of what not to do. He's going to see game speed, and you don't have to take unnecessary hits this year. I mean, it's not. If this team is going to be as bad as they say on paper, with the 5.5 wins is the over under, and they hit the under, it's not going to be pretty football the entire season. Why do you want to put Jackson Dart in that spot? He's not going to change and give them wins out of nowhere. It's not happening. And I know you always want to see a spark plug, and you want to see that the season's not ended, and it's not. I mean, Tyrone Tracy just was on with Bruce Beck. I saw a quote basically saying, hey, you got to give Russell Wilson more than just one game. Can't do that. It's unfair. And I agree. NFL can change at any point in time. It's a week-to-week league. I don't think that what we saw versus the Commanders, even though it's been very similar to what we've seen over the past 2 years prior, I still think it's going to be better. There's two things, like I said yesterday, two things they got to fix. It's the chunk plays on defense, because the Commanders gave the Giants plenty of opportunity to completely shut them down defensively. They kept on getting penalty after penalty and getting pushed back and had these second and longs and third and longs. And what do? They just found these huge chunk plays, get first downs, and made the Giants look silly. And then the other thing is, people got to catch the ball. You can't drop the ball in the end zone and go, oh, Russell Wilson, these play calls aren't working. Theo Johnson can't drop a ball on the 5-yard line he just walk into the end zone. You can't do that. It's the NFL. These plays, every play is so big. So listen, regardless of what it is, you can't put Jackson Dart in these spots, because he does not need the criticism. He doesn't need that. I don't need to see a Zach Wilson with Jackson Dart. I don't need to see a Sam Darnold with Jackson Dart. I don't. I really don't. I don't need to see Daniel Jones with Jackson Dart, because guess what? John Mara, the one thing he said, quote unquote, I felt like we did Daniel Jones wrong. I want to give him every opportunity to succeed. He leaves New York, and in the first game, they blow out the Miami Dolphins with the Indianapolis Colts. And it's not like he had an amazing day, but he did get 2 rushing touchdowns. He threw a touchdown. So he had 3 touchdowns in total. I mean, kind of looked like he knew what he was doing. All right, let's see this Reds game. Okay, all right. So here's the positive news. The Reds lost. The Padres have taken the lead a little bit deeper. So to get the second wild card spot, the Mets have now lost a spot there. So I think the Padres have a 3-game lead in that second wild card over the Mets. And the Reds lost, so that's good. They stay at 4 games. But the Giants win, and they are now at 3 games below on that final wild card spot. Listen, the Mets have a lot of work to do. With 18 games, you can't mess around. And it's going to be – I don't believe in them right now. And I don't know if come next week, come Thursday, might be over. So let that sink in. And someone's got to let that note sink into the players with the Mets, because it's about time they start to play with a little bit of urgency. It is time to make the playoffs, right? You want to make the playoffs, or do you just want to sit this one out? I don't personally want to take a year off. I don't want to hey, we were in the playoffs last year. Who needs to go this year? I don't do that. I want consistency. I want sustainability. That's what I was told. That's what David Stearns and Steve Cohen said last year. Well, let's freaking see it. Thank you for listening to another episode of WFAN Daily. I'm sure McMonagle right now, if you listen to this live, Chris McMonagle's on the air right now. You can even watch him on YouTube if you want to. So go check that out. You can go subscribe, subscribe, everything on Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Go do that. Hit me up at Hoff WFAN. That's at HOFF-WFAN. Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, TikTok. It's all out there. I'm out there. And tomorrow morning should be really fun as as we break down and scratch our heads over the New York Mets and how much of a debacle they're in already. I mean, the 18 to go, and only up 3, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe. This is not going to be fun. This is not, and it's not going to end well. Take that positive, Tommy. All right. I will see you guys later. Thank you again for listening to another episode of WFAN.